one of the things that makes Capture truly unique, and that is the ability to work with lighting and lighting fixtures. We have two options of controlling lighting fixtures in Capture. One of them is by having a DMX source, and the other is by using the built-in control pane in Capture's design views. In Capture 2019, we have redesigned the control pane from scratch, although of course in many ways it is similar to the old because we are controlling fixtures by the end of the day. However, it now appears from the bottom left corner rather than the top left corner and features a resizing option as well as a scrolling that responds well both to scroll wheels on the mouse as well as the Mac trackpads. It consists of two main parts. The leftmost part here is the options part. Here you will find a button to close the control pane again, as well as the resizing grip and a button that expands and collapses the actual control surfaces. At the bottom, there is also a slider that lets you control the transparency of the control pane for those cases where it's overlapping the actual design. We have also expanded on the functions available for the fixtures, where previously we always had the home button. So let's select a moving head here. We have a home button that homes all the parameters of the fixture, but we now also have a half home which homes everything except the pan and tilt parameters, as well as two light on and light off buttons that simply control the dimmer function. So these offer a quick way of turning fixtures on and off without affecting any of the other parameters of the fixture. So with this DL7F wash selected, you will notice that the color picker is different in the new control pane. It now has an HSI approach that lets you choose the hue, saturation, and intensity, or dimmer level if you would like to call it that. And this type of color and dimming control is now available for almost all fixture types. The only exception really is those that are controlled with a dimmer level and a color temperature, so they are slightly different. But apart from that, whether they are RGB, HSV, or multi-channel multi-emitter fixtures, or multi-emitter fixtures in RGB mode, they are all controlled using the same HSV interface, so you don't really have to understand the details of control of the particular fixture. Capture abstracts that for you. Now looking at this fixture, it also has shutter control as we're used to. You can see that the pan and tilt control in the control pane has been redesigned to make it easier to control pan and tilt separately, but also to provide motion control for fixtures that, for instance, only have one pan channel or only tilt channel. That is the more common case actually. The next control I wanted to show you here was the framing shutter control, which now works for multiple fixtures together. So here I have 3 Fresnels, and as you can see, I can modify the barn doors of all 3 of them together. This is a great improvement for all of you working with shutter cuts of any kind. So those are the main improvements of the control pane. Another less obvious improvement is the fact that each fixture type gets its own column in the control pane. This is in fact very important because it allows us to separate how a dimmer or color picker works between different fixture types. That was one of the reasons we needed to redesign the entire control pane, in fact. Another nice benefit with the new control pane is that it scales properly on high DPI monitors. The previous one was very tiny and difficult to read on a 4K monitor, for instance. But this one scales properly with the system settings, just as you would expect. So that's it with the new control pane. Obviously, we will continue enhancing the control pane in future versions. The primary goals in Capture 2019 was to cover color and dimming control of as many fixture types as possible.